What is up, winning team? Today I want to tell you about how God actually getting me into teaching was one of the best strategies for my overall game, more than I even realized. And I'm going to tell you about that because I just realized with everything I've been saying and how I've been saying, my generation, Gen Z, my hope is with my own generation, etc. And obviously I teach my generation. We'll come to that though, because there's a couple of things I want to point out, right? One thing I've been thinking about, and I keep forgetting to mention in an actual video, is how the coinkadinkle nature of the fact that kids finish school probably 2 to 3 hours before their parents get home from work, right? Which made me think, where I live is about half an hour drive from the airport, and we're in Europe, which means that, well, I mean, it doesn't mean it's not exclusive to Europe, but here in Europe, you can hop on a flight and within an hour be in another country. So when I've been walking around at these times, because I'm out now, like when the schools have closed and I'm watching all the kids alone walking home, some of them walking through the forest. I've told you guys that like there was a guy, there was these people in the forest, yeah, that got caught out. They got caught out assaulting young girls in this town in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the day, and low-key, I'm actually thinking now, maybe the reason I actually don't really have any issues and I'm out at night is because maybe I'm just too old now. Isn't that horrifying? And that was a sad story as well, as I told you, because even I remember one time I was walking with my brother somewhere and we walked past this guy and my brother was like, he was glaring at him the whole time, and he was like started like shouting at him like, yeah, come outside if you want to, come outside. Because I was thinking, why is he doing all this? Yeah, turns out this guy was the one that ended up getting guilty of this. My brother had noticed it. He tried to tell the police. This is my younger brother, a mid-20s young black man, going to the police about the predators and them not doing anything for a long time. Imagine that. Imagine a reality. So anyway, I think about this, yeah. So I'm thinking this is the perfect kidnapping strategy for these kids, mate. They leave school, they're by themselves, they're all just walking around wherever. Their parents are at work, probably can't get to their phones, probably whatever. Within that 2 to 3 hours, especially in a town like this, you can have them all the way in wherever. You can have them all the way, especially because if you think about it, they'll be taking them to like probably the private jet area. So there's going to be less security, or not the same security at least than like the security you have in the main airports, right? Because obviously these are private planes. They're going to a different part of the airport anyway. So there's just so many more ways to get away with it. So it's all making more and more sense the more we're thinking about it. It was always making sense. But anyways, so I realized, yeah, one of the biggest threats to us as humans, and one of the things that the enemy does on purpose, is sever our ability to think critically, think for ourselves, and be good at problem solving, right? So that he can just dictate, so that we always put our trust in somebody else. We don't know how to figure things out for ourselves, research for ourselves, think critically for ourselves. We're always just blindly trusting. And that's what I realized is why everybody's not good with maths and science, because it's being done on purpose, right? So what I didn't realize in all of this was that all this stuff I'm doing with the kids, yeah, where I'm like teaching them to think for themselves and all of this, in a way, I'm already helping. I've already been working on my plan without knowing I've been working on my plan, because I don't believe, guys, here's the difference between the kingdom of heaven, how we operate over here, how the kingdom of darkness does. You know, the kingdom of darkness teaches, yeah, and how they want to force their ideals onto kids, force whatever, right? They have to tell the kids their whole life story, their sexual orientations and all this, yeah. And me over here, I just do my job, because my job is just to teach you the subjects I teach. It doesn't matter what I think about whatever. I don't comment on whatever. I don't comment on what's not meant to be commented on unless anybody's unsafe, right? But what I do encourage, because this is what God does, is like, no, but what everybody should do is I think everybody has the right to critical thinking. You should think critically for yourself and do with whatever you want with that. And I feel like that's what I do for my job. It's like, in order to be good at things like maths and science, you have to think critically. You have to be problem solver. You have to be good at researching, considering variables, looking at all the options, etc., and evaluating things from a logical standpoint. Yeah. And so are they barbecuing at the pub? Because, mate, I will head straight to the pub after this if they are barbecuing at the pub right now. I went to this pub, the first time I ever went there. There's a dog there. His name's Bruce. Bruce literally, Bruce loves me, right? He's a big dog. I don't know. Yep, that's Bruce. That's literally Bruce. Whenever I walk by there, right, the first time I ever met him, I can hear him. Oh, that's so cute. Hi, Bruce. I should go say hi to Bruce. The first time I went in there, right, they're a really lovely pub, right? I went in there just to scope it out because, like, you guys know I like to go on random, like, solo side quests. So I was like, I'm just going to go up to the pub. I've never been in there, and I've been around this area for so long. And so I went in there. They were really, really nice. They gave me a glass of wine on the house. So next thing you know, I'm sitting in the pub. And when I tell you, Bruce sat next to me the entire time I was at the pub. Bruce was at my side. I was like, I've just gained a best friend for life. I should go say hello. If they're barbecuing the pub, screw whatever the heck else I have to do. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to the pub, mate. I haven't been there in like forever. And I actually did I go back? I went back once because I randomly met this woman in the shop, yeah? So random. I randomly met this woman in the shop and she was like, older lady, yeah? She's probably about like, I don't know, maybe in her mid-40s. That's not old. I don't know why I'm saying older. That's like, anyway, whatever. Anyway, she was there and I was trying to say that she's not my age, is what I was trying to say. Anyway, so she's in there. And I don't know how it came up, but she made a joke about, I just got divorced. And then the rest of us were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. And she was like, oh no, it was a good thing, although she got left. Anyways, me and her end up sitting outside, you know what I mean? And the next thing you know, it's me and her in the pub and she's teaching me how to play pool and she's teasing me. She's like, you're so crap at this. And I was just like giggling and laughing. And it turns out she's a May baby as well. And it was just wholesome. I have the most wholesome moments with random strangers. I don't know what it is, random strangers, but you know, anyway. I digressed all the way off of the point of what I was talking about. But because I can see a big, huge flame there, I'm going to have to go and scope this out afterwards. Because now, you guys, curiosity kills the cat every time. But the cat can't die because Jesus defeated death. And that's why I let my curiosity run rampant. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, you have to be able to think logically and critically. And you know what really made me think about making this video? One of the key things. It's a conversation I had, during work yesterday with one of the kids, right? And I was asking them, because I always ask the kids, like, always, I've always tried to do it. I ask the kids how they are before anything, because that matters. You know what I mean? Like, it matters about how they're going to focus. Like, from a teaching standpoint, it matters. It gives me a feel for the vibe of what we're dealing with today. And also, if the kids have something, sometimes they just need to have said something and it makes them feel better. So they might be like, oh, to be honest, today I'm not really in a good mood and I'm just a little bit sad because, you know, we had to put my cat down or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had a kid who had to do that like this just recently. And I'm like, oh no, that was so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. You'd be surprised how much better they feel just from like a little tiny small acknowledgement. It doesn't take a lot, right? Anyway, so I'm asking like, oh, so how was, you know, whatever. And this is one of the kids who I actually tutor, right? Not like teach them all the whatevers. And so I was like, how's your week been? And then he was like, oh my gosh, today's been amazing. And I was like, oh really? What was so good about today? And he was like, well, today I had a maths test and the test went amazing. And I was like, okay, what happened? And he was like, I don't know. It was like the paper was made for me. I was literally crying as I was answering the questions. And I was just so happy. I was so happy, right? I was so happy to hear that. And he was like, yeah, and I remembered everything you told me. And I was just able to do it. I could just do it all by myself. And I knew what I had to do. And I had this question and then I had this question and then this. And I was just thinking, this is the music I want to hear when we're 2 months away from them all starting their exams, number one. Number two, all I do is tell them to think logically. And it's so funny because no one has ever in my life of all these years ever asked me, what does it mean? What does logic mean? No one's ever asked me that. None of the kids ever have. Not when I was in the primary school, secondary school, like, the sixth form students, not when I would have been teaching online, nowhere. Whenever I say, think logically. And so that's so crazy, right? Isn't it? They don't either. It's like, it's almost as if God built our minds to naturally think critically, so that if we critique everything, the truth will always surface for itself. That's why I think if you're a real truth seeker in life, you will find the truth. You will find the truth if you really want to find it, if you're prepared to hear it. If you're not prepared to hear it, you'll never find it, because once you see it, and if you don't want to believe it, then you won't be able to you won't be able to receive it. And that's the thing. And that's what I noticed with the kids, where they're at a stage of life where all they know is trusting, like that they need to, trust in the adults that they're listening to, and they're hanging on to all the things you say, every thread, every word you say, right? They are open-minded, right? They're open-minded, and they're also critically thinking still for themselves, because they haven't been bashed into this world where you just trust in this and just blindly trust everything, right? They're still at the stage where they're still learning, and a lot of life is still black and white to them, which I love, right? Oh my gosh, are they Bob? Anyway, stay focused. Stay focused. And it was wholesome, right? Because when I was there, I was talking with everybody there, right? And you could tell it was like all the regulars. And we were all talking about how they were planning. They were inviting me to come to the karaoke on Tuesday. They're doing karaoke, what kind of songs they like in karaoke. So funny. And it's funny because the first song that they played, when we were doing whatever, was the Spice Girls. And it was the same exact time I was talking about the Spice Girls on the channel. I can't make this stuff up if I tried. What kind of aircraft is that? Anyway, anyway, I don't know why. Anyway, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to put that into the atmosphere. Anyway, so yeah, that was part of the strategy all along, because now that I think about it, right, throughout the years, there's a lot of kids who I've helped to learn critical thinking skills for the simple fact, just like what God is like, that they deserve the right to have the tools to be able to evaluate life clearly and logically, so they can make whatever choice they want to make. You see what I mean? And that's what I love about, how God does things, because it's not about like trying to tell you this is what you need to think, this is what you need to do, he's more just like, well, here are all the options, and do with that what you will. You know what I mean? Here is how you think critically, logically. I've put a little critical thinking machine in your mind, so use it. So that's where I'm just like, brother, these kids, it was part of the strategy all along, turns out. So I'm well chuffed about that. Very, very happy about that. It's made me feel a lot better and a lot less like I've just been wasting my time, because I haven't been like, oh my gosh, I'm wasting my time. And yes, the system itself is a waste of time and whatever and what have you, whatever. But actually, come to think of it, because the way that I think of these types of subjects, it's like everything should be provable and everything should be logical, right? So I need to stop looking over there. Everything should be provable and everything should be provable and everything should be logical. And so that's just how we should go about in life, you know what I mean? And so, I'm really chuffed about that now that I think about it. Because I don't know, all of a sudden, I've been feeling like hell, as you know. But like in the last couple of days, I feel like, why does everything start? It's feeling like everything's actually coming together in a weird way. Why does all of a sudden, does it feel like everything's coming together? Kind of obsessed, and kind of excited. I'm not even going to lie to you, because, who would have thought that teaching in maths and science might just be the thing I need to do, because actually I can present logical arguments to people, because this is what I do. Like, even in conversations with folks, because a lot of people just go what they're thinking. And also because of research, and having to like study things, critique things, read all these scientific journals. Like when you're like scientists, you have to, when they write journals, right? Obviously, we know that the validity of a lot of scientific research is not what it was, courtesy of our theoretical particle physicist, Sabine Hossenfelder, who we talked about in my science playlist, right? The one who was like, actually physics is lacking a lot of empirical evidence for a lot of things, and it turns out, why is that? Oh, it's true, but the people are having to publish these things anyway because people have families they need to feed and they need to survive, so the validity of science doesn't matter as long as everybody's being fed. Oh my gosh, I was thinking about it, as I'm sitting here, I can see a crow in front of me. But yesterday I was sitting and it's also picking around for food, right? Yesterday I was watching this duck, eat these ducks eating food off the ground. And I was thinking about how animals, all they're ever doing is, it seems like everything about their life is what they're going to eat. Everything about their life is about survival and what they're going to eat. And God gave us a planet where we don't have to worry about that very much. We don't have to do a lot. And yet here we are all, and that's what we're all ever thinking about predominantly, is just surviving. Survival, basic survival. That's just actually horrific. And because the enemy keeps us in that survival mode, yeah. I've been building my house for Antarctica on Minecraft. I'm gonna just take as long as I want to because I want it to be the dream castle I talk about. I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I build it on Minecraft? So I rarely play on creative mode, right? Because on Minecraft, if you haven't played the game, you have survival mode where you essentially just get dropped onto the earth, and when you get dropped into the earth, you just have to figure it out. So you just start punching trees to get wood, and then build yourself like a little hut. You have to go foraging, hope that you find something, try and kill an animal, build an axe, build a pickaxe, make a fire. Like, you have to find everything, and you start from the beginning, right? That's why I like it, because when you then end up with just an incredible, and you've built build all these incredible things. I have like farms, I go fishing. I love it. Yeah. And it's really satisfying. But I decided I'm going to build the Antarctica house on creative mode, right? So creative, you have the access to everything. You don't have to go mining for diamond. So the whole entire thing is built out of diamond, yeah? And it's floating in the air. I think it's going to look really good. I'm going to take my time. Normally I'm the type of person where I like to sit and just build in one day. But I'm actually kind of low-key enjoying coming back to it, going to it and like doing it for a couple of hours and then coming back to it like the next day and doing it for a couple of hours has been kind of fun. Why am I mentioning all of this here? And I'm going to show you guys. I've been documenting it just to show you guys once it's finished, so that you can get an idea of the vision of the Antarctica castle, right? Anyway, and by the way, I'm not a professional builder on Minecraft. I just like to say I'm like probably about average level on Minecraft. Anyway. I'm mentioning this because I feel like that's the difference between like us as like what God had in store for us, and then like what our lives became because we chose the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is like, okay, I'll just drop you here and you figure it out by yourself then. You go and punch that tree over there, build yourself your little hut and fight to survive. Because that's what was always fun about playing that with my brothers, is it would be like a rush on survival to like build your house as soon as possible, because at nighttime, all the freaking mobs are coming out, the freaking skeletons, the creepers, the this, are going to try to kill you. And you haven't got anything to defend yourself. So essentially, you're going to die immediately, right? If you don't. So it'd be a lot of fun, like racing against the clock for us to try and build a hut, do this, get armor. It was just a lot of fun, right? Versus God's idea is like, hey, it's creative mode. I created everything for you. This is all yours. This is all ours. Let's just have a good time. Let's just build the castle in Antarctica out of diamond. But no. And that's why I feel like it's just actually kind of pathetic that anyone's ever talking about is a basic survival. This is why I'm like with God. I'm like, God, we need to break the curses of Adam and Eve, because I know that the Bible said, Jesus' blood is strong enough to break every curse. So that's why when it dawned on me, wait a minute, does that curse not also obviously then include the curses of Adam and Eve, which is obviously the curses of Eve, which, boy, am I living in the thick of that right now. I'm living in the very much thick of that right now. And then also the curse of Adam, you will you will struggle to survive. You will struggle to survive the ground. So I'm wondering how things were different before. I'm wondering how different it was before that happened, before we brought death into the planet. You know what I'm saying? And so this is why none of this is good enough for me. Like, none of this is good enough. None of this is good enough. All of this, the kids worried, I want to get a job. And the parents are like, I just want to get them a good education so they can live a good life. Like, what good life? All we're doing, all of us, is just focused on survival. Just like these freaking animals, just like this crow walking around right now on the ground, yeah, looking for something to eat. Just like all these animals I see doing whatever, or, animals that have to hunt like this and have to have all these specific skills so that they're able to catch prey. Like the tigers who can move super fast. Tigers are so freaking cool. This is why, yeah. I'm seeing the vision, like, because my castle, yeah, being in the air, right? I hope they have tigers on Minecraft. I don't know if they do, because I'm going to put tigers all on the ground, because there's going to be a lot of security to stop anybody wanting to come where I am. Listen, I want to have just tigers. Well, there's actually a whole drop and a waterfall below, underneath where the castle is, right? And I'm just going to I hope there's tigers, because I should put tigers around. Because human beings, try coming now, try bother me now. Yeah, leave me alone. But all animals, all the plants, everything, all of them they're ever doing is just trying to survive. Even the plants, they grow towards the direction of the sunlight because they need the sunlight and the chlorophyll and the chloroplast. It's just, that's all they're doing, yeah? So the animals are created like that, right? And the way that they go about doing those things was to supplement our lives so that we would have things like how bees, create honey, for example. They're doing all this work. They're going around flying away just so that we can just pop over to the honeycomb and just get ourselves some lovely honey, right? All these things that animals are doing, working overtime just to survive, right? And we gave up the gift we had, like to what? To do what? To live. And this is living. This is living. Is this living? This sounds like it's surviving. And it sounds like survival was supposed to be the absolute basic thing that we already had got done. And we were supposed to be just having a good time. We're supposed to just be vibes and vibing with ourselves, with the Lord, with each other. But no, and then the time we do get to spend with the people we love is so little because we're spending so much time freaking surviving. Like, I've had enough. Like, when I tell you, I've had enough now. I've had enough. And I will not tolerate any of this any longer. So I've said to God, look, hit me up when the plan is. Like, with what the plan is. What do we need to do to break the curses of Adam and Eve? What do we need to do to get to the promised land? But I appreciate that there might be a little slight delay on that because, of course, we need to get all these predators and we need to castrate them and we need to hang them on the wall first and bust those kids out of those underground tunnels and out of wherever they are and make sure that they're properly rehabilitated, looked after, etc., etc., etc. That we have to do first. So that's true. That's the the priority at the moment, which I get. So that's where I'm at, anyways, guys. I'm gonna actually leave that there, and I gotta go scope out what's going on in this pub right now because I gotta know what's going on in the pub right now. And they're super friendly. Like, you know what's sad about this situation I'm sitting in, where I'm saying, like, I'm sitting here, and they're all in a triangular formation, right? The pub is there, the church is there, the mosque is there, right? Mosque is open, pub is open, church is closed. Mosque can't go in there. I'm a woman, right? I don't know how that all works. But anyways, I only ever see men in there. So, and I think that I can't go in there. I don't remember these things. Guys, I have so much information in my head. I can't keep up with everything. Going to the pub now. Right now, if I was just in a sad mood, imagine what it's like. I can go in a pub on a sad day, yeah? And just walk in there. They don't know anything from anything. I don't even have to talk about anything. But I get welcomed in. I get a complimentary drink. The freaking dog becomes my best friend. I'm getting invited to karaoke. It's so warm and welcoming. This is what us as church should be. But instead, people come in from the world and it's like, oh, we don't do this here because we're sitting on our high horse of self-righteousness. If you don't give thanks for stepping in, sinner. Stepping in. Receive Jesus right now, otherwise you're going to hell. Receive Jesus. It's like, whoa. Where is just the loving people? Where's just the vibes? Because that's what it's like when I went to the pub. It's just the vibes. I wasn't even planning on actually staying. I just wanted to pop in and see what it was like. But then because it was so nice, next thing you know, I've been in there for a couple of hours. I've been talking to the people, I've got to know the landlord of the place. I've, like I said, I was chilling with Bruce there, my best buddy. And I'm like, whoa, this is nice. You know what I mean? This is a vibe. I want to come back. So this is why I'm just saying, guys, everything I'm saying is like everything has come together, and I cannot physically believe that the decision to leave London just to come and bash my gums together on the internet has brought us here. Oh, how obedience pays off. Let me tell you, because like that decision, I don't think you guys understand. I have 3 options, and this is the option I didn't like, right? This is the only option I didn't want to have to take. I knew I had to do something. And so it was like, either I was gonna stay living with this guy, right? Yeah, and go and live somewhere else with him, right? I was gonna live by myself and continue my whatever lifestyles of the boss, the rich and famous. I wasn't rich or famous, guys, but you get what I'm saying. It was a very fun lifestyle, yeah. Doing all this fun stuff. I get to literally get paid to make up dance routines to songs I would have danced to anyway, to the songs that I chose, and I get paid to do it. Are you kidding me? And that's so much fun. Yeah. And stay living in London. Or I come back to this hellscape where I'm reminded of every single bad thing that ever happened, throughout school, throughout my life, my past, my old everything. The people I don't want to see are, but people know where my location, people know me. And I was like, but this is the only option of those three that I knew I had to take. And I was like, and I remember literally begging God, I'm like, God, please, there has to be another option. There has to be another option. Please give me like an extra option to this. And there was not an extra option, you guys. There was not an extra option. Yup. And I tried, first to try and get myself out of here so many times, and something will always get in the way. And I just know that it's God stopping it. He's like, no, you can't do that. Unfortunately, we need to keep you here under supervision. But also to get here, because I would never have been this focused, guys. I've been too busy enjoying myself. What the hell? In London, I've go running my own business, doing my own things. I wouldn't have had time to do all the things I was doing. I used to leave my house when it before the sun was even risen, and I used to come back at after midnight, and what time would I be spending doing stuff like this? Just sitting in the park, just talking to you guys, or just sitting observing nature, or teaching maths and science, because I never wanted to do teaching. I've never wanted to be a teacher. I don't like it. I don't like the job. Again, no surprise. Jeffrey Epstein was a teacher, right? I don't like the job, guys. I don't like it. I don't like looking after I don't like looking after children I'm not fully responsible for, because that means I'm not fully able to do everything I need to do. So it's kind of redundant at the end of the day, because it's like I said in my job, a lot of things that parents do, little do they know, they're literally undoing all the work the very things that they want to give their children with their behavior. It's like, you want this, but you're doing that. You're literally undoing all the work. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I've got things to do. And no, I will not be going to the pub, guys. I know I won't be, but I will be snooping by when I go now, and I will see if I can go and say hello to Bruce. But I love that I remember all the dogs' names that I meet, but then I just don't be remembering a lot of stuff. But anyway, I actually do have stuff to do, unfortunately, because I'm still a slave in Egypt. Still under the curses of Adam and Eve to an extent. Although, because I've been somewhat alleviated, I know that it's possible. So, anywho, it's just like that. My back starts hurting, obviously, because, the bloating, the hormones, the swelling of the body, the boobs, that's partially why I had to come out, just to, move my body. And I couldn't sleep because it was just... The back pain as a result of bloating is insane, and it just keeps me up at night as well, even when I'm actually trying to sleep. Who doesn't even try to sleep? So this is, oh my God. And this is what I'm saying. I feel like God intentionally let everything in my life intensify right now, yeah? That's also what he did with the people of Israel, when they were leaving Egypt, is before they left, when Moses showed up and did what he did, things actually got worse at first, which obviously made the people even more annoyed at Moses. But in my opinion, it was actually God's way of being like, yeah, now it's unbearable, isn't it? So now you can't stay in this position, can you? Which is essentially what he's doing with me. He's like, yeah, now it's unbearable, isn't it? It's unbearable now. You were you were struggling, but you were still struggling somewhat comfortably. Now it's physically unbearable for you. So now I bet you are gonna do what you need to do. I bet you are gonna stand up. I bet you are gonna get to the point. Because I have been avoiding some things. I ain't gonna lie. So yeah, to use my own body against me like that is diabolical. But, it is what it is. Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna skedaddle. Yeah, something's going on here. Oh no, that's just delivery. Yeah. Oh, this is my opportunity. They've got a delivery coming through. This is my opportunity to see. Anyways, I need to just go. Life is a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.